Alright guys, Satchgrubber here today, and week 2 of the CWL Global Pro League has begun. We had 2 matches last night, both of which were very interesting indeed. This first match especially, UYU versus EG, what the hell was going on here? And the other one later on in the day as well, LG versus of course Gen.G. A very interesting one indeed with many potential ramifications for us. We're going to go through it all today as is tradition, so like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always, and let's get right into it. So, UYU versus EG was the first match of the day. If you guys are really new to how all this situation works, you're really new to the Pro League, I'll leave a link of course down to how you can watch this for free every night and all the timings and everything like that. And there's a great website called Gamepedia which will show you all the things you need to know. These box scores are courtesy of EasyMac. I'll leave his Twitter down in the description box below and his spreadsheet where you can access all of this stuff. He puts all this stuff together as the matches are going on. Fantastic work really. So, this was map number 1, and I had faith in EG to come out hot here. They'd gone 0-3 in the map 1. UYU had looked pretty good, but I kind of felt like they were getting hard carried by Methods and Mayhem at times. I felt like if that sort of slaying power doesn't appear, then EG could have a good chance here. And I really thought that EG would get through this off the back of Search and Destroy, because UYU were not looking good in Search and Destroy in the first week. And I thought that, okay, Evil Geniuses, they've gone back home, they're sitting there with Riven, they'll figure something out to be able to take UYU down. And after map number 1, it really did look convincing, because these guys demolished UYU map number 1. It was actually incredible. I guess the, kill streaks and specialists, they do help games spiral out of control, but this was truly ridiculous. They went up stupid amounts early on, and then they just never had an opportunity to come back, did UYU. They got broken constantly, and yeah, I'll just show you a clip in just a second here of Felony with that Annihilator. So what we'll do is we'll go through all the maps in the series, then we'll go back and look at some gameplay, because map number 1, Exotic 22-8, Goonjar 17-7, Felony 19-11, like, it looked really good for EG, but map number 2 was a completely different story. UYU win it 6-3, and this was comfortable. The S&D was so bad to watch here. Both teams didn't know what the hell they were doing. Some of the rounds I was seeing from Evil Geniuses were just incredible. People sliding at gunfights they didn't need to take and just dying for no reason. Exotic had a 1 versus 2. He wins the first gunfight, he manages to slide away round a corner, and the other guy goes back to the bomb as if to fake to defuse, but the bomb was planted super open for Exotic, and the player that ran back towards the bomb, if he was even going to hop on bomb, Exotic didn't need to peek for another 4-5 seconds at least. And Exotic just runs around the corner. The guy who did go back to the bomb re-peeks again, kills Exotic and defuses with half a second on the clock. Like, those sort of rounds cannot be happening when you're a professional player. That was just pathetic, I thought. And a lot of those rounds, a lot of similar rounds, coming out of both sides. Evil Geniuses, they were just flooding into the lobby, getting punched in the back because they didn't know where the players were. Just atrocious. I don't know what sort of S&D strats the Reverend was trying to come up with, but, I'm sure he had some sort of playbook, and they did not execute by any means, and the fact that they weren't really taking mid-control on that map was very questionable. Nameless was talking about that. Hacienda kind of reminds you of Raid, and mid-control's super important. It gives you access to all the elements of the map, so regardless, horrible from EG, and UYU won their first S&D of the Pro League, and, it really did spell disaster, because going into this control map number 3, UYU won this pretty damn convincingly, and after they clutched up in the very first round, it was a close first round, and after that it was just too easy for UYU. They ran away with the series. You can see the lives count here. It was 4-0 in this very last round to close out the game, but it never really felt like it was in doubt at any point. And of course, defense has a particularly big advantage in control, so UYU winning that very first attacking round of the game, they got some streaks on their board. Yeah, it was a big one. Proto went 9-23, but his teammates hard carried unbelievably hard. Mayhem just went off towards the end. I'll show you a clip from that in a second, and well, yeah, that was really the difference maker. And then map number 4, we have UYU beating EG 250-180 on Seaside again, and considering what happened map number 1, you wouldn't have expected EG to lose this series in the fashion they did, but they got demolished this map. They did make a bit of a comeback at one point, it is Seaside, those things tend to happen, but, 196 to 86 at one point in favour of UYU. They were just decimating them. Once again, you know, Proto had a poor map number 3, but he absolutely took over this map number 4. Arguably one of the best Sorgs in the game right now, because he is unbelievably cracked out. He will fly around the corner. He's constantly jumping, constantly like crouching mid-gunfight. Seems like a nightmare to deal with. And, well, I think he's pretty damn good right now, even if he doesn't put up the best statistics on the scoreboard usually. But he got streaks this map, I think, and it helped them close it out versus EG. So, pretty horrible series from EG. They remain winless. It's definitely very scary when they're playing LG tomorrow, who also don't have a win. And we'll go on to that in a second. So, this is the end of map number 1. I just thought I'd show you this, because this is just incredible the way that EG dominate this game. Doesn't really show the picture of the series, but it is pretty remarkable. Exotic pushes all the way around the back. They've got 200 HP popped on UYU trying to win this rotation. Of course, so have the guys on Evil Geniuses. Felony pulls out his Annihilator, and you'll see what happens with that in just a second here. Yeah, Facento kills one. Fellow gets another with the Annihilator. The kill streaks are just crazy. Fellow gets streaks as well. Look at this shot right here, guys. He gets stunned. Oh, the cross map hip fire, no scope Annihilator while stunned. Like, when you hit shots like that, how are you losing a series, man? It's just incredible. And then he punches someone to death. He punches Proto to death inside of crates or inside of fish, whatever you want to call that room. God damn, like, this game, it looked incredibly good for Evil Geniuses. And, well, it didn't end up working out in their favour. So this is the map number 3 with UYU trying to close out in this control right here. We have Exotic trying to get some pieces, and this is really towards the end of this game with UYU needed to clutch up. It was 10-9 at this point, and yeah, UYU do a fantastic job. This is of course on the offense, so it's more difficult to do incredibly well, and when Methods hops up top, he gets a very awkward timing. Royalty does really well to win these couple of gunfights, and honestly, EG, you could argue, have an advantage in this situation. 20 seconds to go. Proto takes some full damage, but he's having to hop back up, and Mayhem really wins them this round. He pushes around the back, gets a 2-piece, pushes all the way into their spawn in just a second here to continue spawn trapping them, and yeah, this is what tends to happen when you let your guard down or let them get into your spawn, because as soon as Mayhem gets that 3-piece, he really did hard carry them this game. The game is all but over, there's nothing that GenG could do in a 1 versus 5 to finish things off. So, as the box score for the entire series here, these are the statistics of the players. Exotic had a pretty good series overall, but yeah, for Cento, it was not looking pretty to say the least, and Felony, considering his good map 1, it really went down the pan later on in the series. Royalty also not performing too well, but once again, Mayhem just turned up, and yeah, got the MVP according to EasyMag. Series number 2, we had Gen.G versus Luminosity, and this was very interesting because Gen.G always lose their map number 1. They've lost every single map number 1 before, and it wasn't different this time around. Formula had a pretty damn good map. Slacked played well as well. It's an interesting one with Slacked, because if you look at the pure engagements when we get to the box score at the end of this series, you'll kind of feel like he doesn't have enough engagements with the Sorg, but he definitely played, you know, better than, well, people were expecting, I guess, put it that way. Gen.G, a big team, they're 3-0 after week 1. Here they go 4-0, but they do lose map number 1 yet again to Luminosity. Can't really say too much about it, it was just pretty typical. Gen.G kind of made a little bit of a comeback, but LG showed impressive slaying on that frequency map. Map number 2, Gen.G went down early on, like 2-1, and then they brought it back really convincingly. Gen.G's executes on this map are super impressive, especially inside the A-bomb site. They don't seem to lose a single round when it's inside the A-bomb site or when that's up for grabs. Morks was the absolute hard carry this series. He got streaks in this map again. I think maybe he only got 1 streak, but it really helped them close it out, and Luminosity looked really lost in some of this search and destroy, and well, when we get to game 5, you'll see a little bit more of that. So game 3, Gen.G also lost this one to Luminosity, and, well, Gen.G are typically a team that every series so far, they lose map number 1, they win the next 3. They were up 2-0 in this control. You'd have thought they're very reliable to be able to close it out, but it didn't happen in their favour. Luminosity did really well to get a lot of kills in that round number 3 and win a big offense, and then going into round 4, they just decimated them, and that really spelled the end of the game, because, yeah, the defense for Luminosity in that round number 4 Gen.G couldn't get out their spawn, and they got like 10 kill streaks or something like that, did Luminosity, and well, yeah, there was no way they were going to lose the last round, given all those streaks on board. All they needed to do was get a little bit of dip their toe in the water at one of the objectives, and then they could use the streaks to rain down hell from above on the defensive guys of Gen.G coming out their spawn. So LG make the reverse sweep within the control, but Gen.G, it doesn't phase them at all. Map number 4, 250 to 168, they were never behind in this one. Once Gen.G get into their swing of things in the series, they seem to be super good down the stretch. Morks once again 25 in 13, he got streaks in this off the back of a very nice play. And yeah, LG made a bit of a comeback between Hill 3 and Hill 4 on the second rotation here, but that was when Morks got his streaks and it really helped them close out the game, no problem at all towards the end. You can see that they basically scored 70 uncontested seconds. Map number 5, Gen.G ran away with it again 6-3. The crazy thing about this, and you'll see the clip in a second, is that Gunless gets a sick 2-piece to open up the game. Nagafen misses all sorts of shots. And then the momentum really seems to be with LG. They go up 3-0. And then Gen.G bring it all the way back. They win 6 straight. And yeah, LG looked super lost. Their defensive setups were so null. There was really nothing you could say for it. And once Havoc got streaks on his back, then yeah, the series was just over at that point. So Gen.G once again winning one. I made a video last week, of course, on whether Luminosity need a roster change, and well, I guess they can come back more to the fore now because they still don't have a victory, and losing this in Game 5 fashion is, well, it's tough. So, this is from that Game 3 control with Luminosity trying to bring it back. They're on the offense here. They're down in the kill department. So, it's very impressive indeed they managed to make this work. Gunless gets a fantastic 2-piece. John picks up one as well. And they lock down this B objective really quickly. And Gen.G have to rush over towards this A site here to try and defend it. But Slacked was really the one that changed this game in their favour here. This gravity slam he just about employs. They're waiting for him to get into position to use it. They're all rotating over towards this A site. Luminosity taking their time. Classic gets a little bit aggressive for my liking, but, you know, Formal at the back, he's fine. And Slacked goes in with the grav slam. No chance at all for those two guys. And, yeah, picks up the 3-piece, and that spells the end of the round, considering there's no way the defense are getting back into that point. And that streaks, and that helps them close out the game. This is the search and destroy. This is the gunless play, round number 1 in the Game 5. And, well, I don't know how you lose this on the side of Gen.G. This is where I really thought that Gen.G were actually going to throw it. He's one shot, he's tagged up at the back there. They have the bomb down on the bomb. There's no way you can throw this round. One of your players can run away, but he gets a 2-piece out of it. Like, look at Gunless's reaction here. It's actually so funny, like, what the hell were they doing? Nagafen missed so many bullets. Look at that. Morks, I don't know what he was doing peeking, but like 15 seconds left. You can just have one guy shoulder peeking that to stop them planting the bomb, and Nagafen could have just run to the hills and they would have been fine. So this is later in that game. Gen.G had just won 4 rounds straight, and yeah, Havoc calls in this drone squad here, and look at this, like, they're just lemmings through this door to LG. They just slide through this door again and again and again, and they don't try and make any sort of different retake setup. And like, I guess there's nothing you can do against the drone squad anyway, but it's just funny how poorly they played that, and they didn't even get a single kill in that round. And yeah, that really sums up the end of the video. Gen.G managed to finish it all the way off, and let's have a look at a box score. So these were the end of match stats. Really, there wasn't any particular standouts on the side of Luminosity. I guess Gunless to some extent, but Morks was a hard carry that series, Maniac of course, and Havoc did really well in that final search and destroy. But let me know what you think about this game. Are LG completely done? What is their situation right now? And let's have a look through the matches for tonight. So firstly, these are the current standings. Midnight, of course, 4-0 at the top. Gen.G as well. Optic Red Reserve, UYU, Reciprocity, LG, and EG down there at the bottom, and they are going to be playing each other tonight. This is the schedule. Reciprocity Midnight game number 1, UYU Gen.G, Optic Red Reserve, EG Luminosity. So tune in tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like if you did. Subscribe if you're new as always. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm just watching there. I'm just, yeah, plant. Nothing in here.
He's flanking already. He's
quick flank.
Go back to watch. I'll kill this guy tank. Team 1.
He's going in post now.
Yeah. Go on their side. I'm flanking through mid, alright? I'm going gate. Got post.
Yeah, okay.
Where's last?
Last guy's post.